Alright, so it's been a little while since I did a video. I was away for a little over a week, and really I didn't watch any boxing, but when I came back, I was able to catch the Mikey Garcia fight versus Robert Easter Jr. I thought that fight played out more or less the way I thought it was going to going into the fight. Um, you know, Mikey Garcia showed that he's maybe 2 levels above a guy like Robert Easter, who I've always felt, being that tall, being that long, 135 pounds is not a great weight for him. Not saying that he would go up in weight and dominate or be better fighter in the higher weight class. I just get the feeling that he's cutting too much weight, no matter if he's making that weight class or not. Yeah, he doesn't fight his height. He has a habit of slouching down, making it easy to hit him. And against Mikey Garcia, a well-schooled fighter, that wasn't going to work, and obviously he lost the fight. Now there's all this talks of Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. My take on that is I don't think that's the fight he should be going for. I think it's the Lomachenko fight. But if it's true that there's more money versus Errol Spence, or there's a lot more money to be made versus Spence over Lomachenko, then I could understand it. We've seen this scenario play out before. At least for me, Triple G and Kell Brook. Kell Brook being in terms of this comparison, a bigger man than what Mikey Garcia was if he was to make this push to go up to 147 pounds and fight Errol Spence. And we've seen how that played out. Yeah, it's part of boxing. Kell Brook saw the nice payday and went for it. So this could be the same scenario. I could see the fight playing out somewhat like what happened between Triple G and Kell Brook. Now there was talks, at least on the BDA podcast, there was some boxing fans that were bringing up a point whether or not Mikey Garcia, or the comparison between Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence, is a good one, as in compared to the criticism. They were talking about the criticisms that Golovkin got for fighting Kell Brook. I think if you're going to be consistent, yeah, then if you criticize Golovkin for fighting Brook, then you must do the same thing with Errol Spence if he was to take this fight versus Mikey Garcia, right? To me, I don't see it. I don't see the criticism, because I thought that it was perfectly fine for Golovkin to fight Kell Brook. Now, it didn't work out for Brook, right? But he wanted that fight. And if Mikey Garcia wants this fight with Errol Spence, that's the way I feel. I feel that it's a big money opportunity, and I can't blame either fighter for wanting to take that fight because of the financial gain, or the possible financial gain in this fight. So, and it's boxing, so you don't know what can happen. You don't know if, as much as I think Errol Spence would beat Mikey Garcia, I personally think he would steamroll over him and end up stopping him. Again, you don't know how these fights are going to play out. I'm basically playing the eye test, and I just think that Errol Spence is too much of a big man for Mikey Garcia to do anything to stop him from doing what he would want to do in that fight. Sort of like what happened with Golovkin and Kell Brook. But if the fight gets made, I will watch it because I'm a boxing fan, and I don't have those criticisms or double standards towards a particular fighter. Again, I was okay with Golovkin versus Brook, so if this fight was to happen, I would be okay with it as well. At the end, it's their choice, they're choosing a whole lot of money, to be made, if that's the scenario, and that's why they want to make these fights. And let's face it, this is what these guys are in it for at the end. So if the fight gets made, I really don't have any no real complaints about that fight getting made. This weekend you also have Sergey Kovalev versus Alvarez, Elidia Alvarez of Colombia, light heavyweight division. A good fight, right? A pretty good fight. You got Bivol on the undercard. It seems like they're trying to set up a fight between the winner of Alvarez and Kovalev versus Bivol. And I think that would be great if that fight was to get made. I would love to see Bivol versus Kovalev, especially. That's the fight that I would definitely want to see. 175 being one of the most talented divisions, if not the most talented division in all of boxing when it comes to how many quality fighters you got in a weight class. I would love to see them have a tournament. It would be great. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to watch those fights come Saturday night, just to see what the future holds. It seems, like I said, it seems like the big money fight, the big fight that the light heavyweight division will be front and center will be Sergey Kovalev versus Dmitry Bivol. Or if Alvarez somehow pulls out the fight, right? If he pulls out the fight against Sergey Kovalev and is able to win, then you got a nice, it's not as big, but it would be a nice fight between Bivol and Alvarez. It seems like, Dmitry Bivol is on his way up, and some of these fighters that we're talking about, it looks like he can beat these guys, Sergey Kovalev or Alvarez. I would more likely pick him comfortably to beat Alvarez. Kovalev would be a hell of a test for him. It would be a great fight. Let's see how those fights play out. Another talking point that I wanted to voice my opinion on is this whole pound for pound talk, right? And I've done videos about this. I've talked about this in the past, and it makes for interesting boxing talk, right? Look, you can have your list. You can have who you want. I think a lot of that is based on just, who do you as a boxing fan find more interesting? The style is more interesting. There's a lot of great fighters, obviously, in boxing today. There's a lot of guys who display excellent boxing skills. So to me, I don't get caught up in the, my list is better than your list. Now, of course, I take my list more serious than I would take yours. Not to say that I can't look at your list and say, I see what you're talking about. Right? And there are other lists that I find to be more ridiculous than others. But again, it's your list, and whether or not you have a list that's totally different than mine, to me, all this is based on just being a fan of certain fighters, for whatever your particular reasoning is. If you think it's because, you like their fighting style better, you like the level of competition better, you like the way they finish fights, hey, I think all those things should be taken into consideration. After all, I don't believe pound for pound really has any parameters, any rules that would consider a fighter a pound for pound fighter. There's no real guidelines that we can check off to see who is the best pound for pound fighter. It comes down to opinions. Everybody has different guidelines, different criteria to what makes a pound for pound fighter to them. So I really don't care about whose list is better than the others. As a boxing fans, just like to see who you would have in your top 10, 20, or whatever, and have a discussion about why you would have that fighter where you have them. Right? Whether I agree or disagree is not the point, because you know it's just an opinions. It's just an opinion list, and that's all. To me, that's all it would ever be. There would be nothing factual about it. You know, there's this talks of Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. You know, I would really like to see that fight get made. If Wilder is really serious, and this is my opinion, if he's really serious about being considered one of the best heavyweights of today, I think he should take that fight. It's a winnable fight now, especially. He's been on a long layoff. I think that Wilder, if the money's going to be right, which I have to believe it will be, or at least it'll be a bigger payday than what he's used to making, make that fight happen. I would give Deontay Wilder a hell of a shot of beating Tyson Fury now, right? At this particular moment, I will give him a big shot of winning that fight. And if he was to win that fight, I think it would just, it would just make him a bigger star. And if Anthony Joshua was still on the table, and this is the fight they want to make eventually a big mega fight, it brings more bargaining chips for a guy like Deontay Wilder if he was to go in there and beat basically the last lineal champion, right? He's the man that beat the man in Vladimir Klitschko. He beat him first, so I think it would be a meaningful fight if he was to take it and come out the winner. I have my doubts. I have my doubts about Wilder. I'm not too sure he'll take that fight. I don't even know, as I'm making this video, I don't know what the progress is, what's on the table. All I can see is the headline: Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. To me, makes for great boxing. Hope it gets done. One more talking point that I just want to make. This whole thing about promoters. I like this promoter versus that promoter. I get it. There's this push for I'm a Al Heyman guy, I'm a Eddie Hearn guy, I'm a Bob Arum, whatever. Look, my position on it is whoever makes the best fights. Those are the fights I want to see. I could care less about promoters. I don't care about them. You may care about them as a boxing fight. I could give two shits about them. I don't care. All I care about is the fights that they can make. Do I know that there's politics? Absolutely. That's always been part of boxing, or part of the game of boxing outside of the ring. As a fan, all I'm interested in is them making great fights. If they put on a great show, they put on some great fights, I'm watching, right? I think Al Heyman has been a little bit shady, but when he makes fights like Sean Porter versus Danny Garcia, I'm watching that fight. I'm interested. That's a check on Al Heyman for making that fight happen. That's a check for me, just like any other promoter, right? There's all these promoters. I look at them and know that there's shady politics, and they want to get the best deal that's beneficial to them, and they're willing to, if they could, they're willing to go through any means to make that happen. They're all capable of this. Me as a boxing fan, all I care about is the quality of fights that they put on, and hopefully that there's no bullshit at the end. The winner is the winner, and that's that, and hopefully we get a great fight. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I'll probably make another one tomorrow, talking about the upcoming fight with Sergey Kovalev and Eleider Alvarez, and give my position on who I think is going to win and why. Peace.